Hello students of grade 10, my name is Ms. Nisha Bamfield and welcome to another session of Office Administration. Today's lesson's objectives are to understand the terms associated with meetings and to differentiate between the different types of meetings. Let us start by defining the term meetings. A meeting is a gathering of two or more people that has been organized for the purpose of achieving a common goal through verbal interaction, such as sharing information or reaching an agreement. What are meetings and what are they for? The essence of a meeting is that it is a forum for communicating with or between a number of people. The number of people attending may be anything between 2 or several hundreds. What differentiates a meeting from casual communication between colleagues in an office, for example, talking to a colleague at their desk, is that the meeting usually has objectives. It is designed to achieve a specific outcome, such as a plan of action for someone or something. The meeting is instructed. There is an agenda, list of specific topics to be discussed or for discussion. The meeting is planned in advance. It has a venue and time published, and participants are allowed time to prepare what they will say or do at the meeting. Meetings serve several purposes. For example, formalize decisions, making processes in a business or organization. They give everyone a say, bring various individuals within the organization together to have their say about an issue or a number of issues. They foster teamwork. They help to foster a spirit of support, cohesion, and teamwork in an organization among the staff. Let us dive more specifically into the terms associated with meetings. These terms are 15 in nature. Let us look at each of them. They are ad hoc, adjourn, agenda, casting vote, chairperson, ex officio, motion, proposer, proxy, quorum, ratify, rescind, seconder, verbatim, vote. We will now focus individually on each one of these terms. Ad hoc. A meeting is ad hoc when it is convened suddenly for one specific purpose. In other words, it is not part of the normal cycle of regular meetings. Adjourn. Stopping a meeting that is in process. An adjournment may be for a short break or it may be simply the end of the current meeting. Agenda. A list showing the order in which items will be discussed at the meeting. Agendas for a formal meeting always follow a set order. Casting votes. If an item under discussion at the meeting is subject to a vote, and there are equal votes for and against, the person who is chairing the meeting will cast a vote to break the tie, so that a definite decision is made. This is called casting votes. Chairperson. The chairperson who presides over and controls the meeting is normally known as the chair. It is the highest elected office of an organized group, such as a board, a committee, or a deliberative assembly. In formal meetings, the chair is responsible for driving the meeting content. The chair leads preparation of the meeting agenda, opens the meeting, and works to keep the conversation focused and balanced. Ex officio. A person who is not a member of a particular committee that is meeting but is invited to attend because they have a special contribution to make or because they hold a particular position in the organization. Come, for example, the chair or a society is often an ex officio member of all subcommittees of the society. Motion. A motion is a formal step to introduce a matter for consideration by the group that is meeting. It is proposed by an individual attending the meeting. When a motion is passed or carried, this means that it is agreed upon by a majority attending the meeting. Action then takes place after the meeting. Proposer. A person who suggests a motion. He or she can also be called a nominator if a person is being nominated for election to, say, a committee. Proxy. A proxy is a person authorized to act on behalf of another person at a meeting. That is, when the person appointing the proxy is unable to attend. Quorum. They usually relates to special meetings such as AGMs, annual general meetings of a company. A quorum is the minimum number of people required to attend a meeting for the meeting to commence. When there is a quorum, the meeting is said to be sufficiently represented of the members of the company. Any motions passed are therefore considered fair and legal. Ratify. This is to approve or express consent at a meeting regarding a motion that has been passed. Rescind. This is to annul, revoke, or cancel a decision previously ratified by a meeting. Seconder. A person who supports a motion proposed by another person. It is usual for someone to second a motion to prove that more than one person's wish that the motion is passed. Once a motion is seconded, it will then be discussed by everyone at the meeting. Verbatim. Using the exact words as a direct quotation for a source, for example, for a written text or a speaker at a meeting. Vote. This is usually taken when a motion has been proposed and seconded. If everyone present votes in favor, then the motion is said to have been passed, num con. If a majority of those present vote in favor, then the motion is passed. Students, allow me to ask a question. Another word for a formal meeting is all of the following except A. Assemblage, B. Conference, C. Convocation, and D. Huddle. If you indicated D, that is correct. Students, we will now turn our attention over to the types of meetings. Meetings can be of various types based on formality, purpose, use, legality, participation, and more. Types of meeting. The departmental or staff meetings. These are periodic or one-off meetings attended by all departmental staff to discuss and address departmental issues. For example, reviewing performance, setting objectives, reporting on the outcome of actions taken, and discussing any other matters in connection with departmental operations. The objective of a staff meeting is to provide updates, deliver announcements, solicit feedback, share information, and participate in a team environment. To be effective, staff meetings should have a detailed agenda, a time limit, and a designated moderator. General meetings. A general meeting can be either a non-routine meeting of a company called for a specific purpose or an annual general meeting. A general meeting may be called by the directors of the company or requisitioned by a certain number of the members of the company. Ground rules for this type of meetings are: show up on time and come prepared. Contribute to meetings' goals. Let everyone participate. Listen with an open mind. Stay on point and on time. Attack the problem, not the person. Annual general meetings, also known as AGMs. An annual general meeting is a yearly gathering of a company's interested shareholders. At an AGM, the directors of the company present an annual report containing information for shareholders about the company's performance and strategy. Shareholders with voting rights vote on current issues such as appointments to the company's board of directors, executive compensation, dividend payments, and the selection of auditors. Qualifications for an annual general meeting. The corporate bylaws that govern a company, along with its jurisdiction memorandum and articles of association, contain the rules governing an AGM. For example, there are provisions detailing how far in advance shareholders must be notified of where and when an AGM will be held and how to vote by proxy. The following items by law must be discussed at an AGM. Number 1, minutes of the previous meeting. 2, the financial statement. 3, ratification of directors' actions. And 4, election of the board of directors. The extraordinary general meetings, also known as EGMs. An extraordinary general meeting is a shareholder meeting called other than a company's scheduled annual general meeting. An EGM is also called a special general meeting or emergency general meeting. The extraordinary general meeting is utilized to deal with urgent matters that come up between annual shareholders' meetings. EGMs are often considered for emergency measures such as resolving an immediate legal matter or removal of a key member. An EGM might be called to deal with any of the following: the removal of an executive, a legal matter, any matter that can't wait until the next shareholders' meeting. Note: an EGM can be carried out on any day, including holidays. Also, an EGM can be called by the board on the requisition of shareholders, requisitionist, or tribunal. The Board of Directors meeting. The Board of Directors meeting is a formal meeting of an organization's board members. This meeting is usually held at regular intervals to discuss major problems and policy issues within the organization. All individuals that make up an organization's board of directors are usually in attendance. Their function is to guide and determine policy for the organization. The company secretary plays an integral role in this meeting. Committee meetings. A committee is a group of people elected according to the rules of a club to oversee an activity or specific section on behalf of the members. The responsibilities of the committee include, but not limited to, complying with all legislation, especially 1. Association incorporation legislation, member protection, welfare and safety, fundraising legislation, food handling legislation, liquor licensing laws. A committee's work is often conducted in a series of meetings. Students, why do committees have meetings? Let us see. The obvious reason is because most, if not all, club rules, constitutions require the committee to meet and discuss the affairs of the club a certain number of times a year. Thus, the starting point in learning how to run effective committee meetings is to ensure the committee understand the responsibilities defined in the club rules or constitution about committee meetings. The question is, how do you get a committee to function effectively and productively and ensure the committee meeting is not unproductive and a huge waste of time? Ad hoc meetings. An ad hoc meeting is one that occurs outside your usual recurring meetings or meeting rhythms. They are also called one-off meetings. Ad hoc meetings are called to deal with a specific topic or discussion versus a recurring meeting that takes place at regular intervals and has ongoing regular topics. Question. The extraordinary general meeting is used as a way to meet and deal with urgent matters that arise in between the annual shareholders meeting. True or false? If you've indicated true, that is correct. Now, students, when dealing with meetings, there is something called video conferencing. We're going to now look in depth into what is video conferencing. Video conferencing requires specific arrangements in order to be successful. Here are a listed few. The time of the meeting. Bearing in mind that participants may be in different time zones, must be convenient for all involved. The agenda must be circulated in advance so as to make good use of the time available. Remember that the transmission of video conferencing images costs money. All relevant reference materials, for example, sales reports, must be circulated beforehand by international courier, if necessary, though often by email. Test the equipment before the meeting starts to ensure everyone can be seen and heard. Greet each person by name. Looking at them will not be enough in these circumstances. Let one person speak at a time so that there is no overlap in the voices being transmitted by the system. If a party becomes disconnected, wait for that person to dial back in. In the case of a conference telephone call, when individuals are disconnected from a three-way call, the person who initiated the call should reconnect the individual. End on time, thereby managing the scheduled time effectively. Students, we have come to the end of today's lesson. Now, let us look at our end of lesson exercise. Remember, these exercises are to be attempted and completed in your notebooks. Your office manager is conducting a short talk on meetings and has requested your help in getting the meaning for the following list of words. A. Emergency meetings. B. Presentations. C. Conferences. D. Seminars. And E. Video conferencing. Number 1. Research and present to her in a table form the definition and purpose for hosting the above-mentioned meetings. And number 2. When are these meetings held? Students, I want to thank you for paying rapt attention. I hope that today's lesson have stirred your interest in meetings. Thank you once again for having me. My name is Miss Nisha Bamfield, and it was nice serving you today.